Daniel Davis. He's a senior fellow at Defense Priorities and host of Daniel Davis Deep Dive. What is the Pentagon? Walk me through what they'll be meeting on tomorrow and in the coming days in terms of how they will support Israel.
You know, I really think that this is more a statement of psychological and emotional support because, look, we already give about $3.8 billion every year to Israel to help them defend themselves, and they are definitely well equipped. They are well trained. You know, I don't know that they actually need anything to conduct this operation. They have plenty of ammunition. They have the weapons that they need. So I don't know that there's really a lot that they're going to need, but I think it's just a really visible sign at the highest levels of the Department of Defense and the president, to say that we are completely behind Israel at this time.
Colonel, we're looking at live pictures in Gaza. It's just after 6:30 in the morning there, and we see smoke billowing from a building, presumably from Israeli airstrikes overnight, which we knew were occurring. Walk me through, will there be any perhaps coordination, because our military and Israel's military work very closely together, they drill together, they share intelligence together. Will they perhaps play a role in helping Israel get this approach, this response correct?
I'm sure that we'll provide any kind of intelligence support that is needed. We certainly have some assets that, maybe a little bit above what Israel has. And, of course, Israel has historically had really good intelligence support, which is one of the big embarrassments for the Israeli regime right now, because they were taken by such surprise. And there were many signs, actually, even as recently as September, that something big was coming, and they seem to have been completely caught off guard. So that's a big embarrassment. But, I'm very confident that Israel is going to get their house in order very quickly. They're going to make whatever changes are necessary, and anything that we can do to help, I'm sure it's going to be coming from the United States. But I have confidence that Israel will be able to handle its security very well.
Hey, Colonel, you and I have spent the better part of the last couple of years in Washington at the touchscreen talking about the military movements and the battle space in Ukraine. Right. Now, this is a unique one, and you talk about this really catching the Israeli military off guard. Walk me through how Hamas is able to pull off a highly coordinated multi-front land assault by land, air, and sea on 20-plus targets while launching the highest number of rockets I think they've ever launched, which really took the Iron Dome by surprise.
It did. Yeah, I think we're up to, last I heard, was 5,000 rockets have been fired in just this very short period of time. In September, actually, you had Hamas was openly conducting field exercises where they literally and physically rehearsed a lot of these operations that they're doing. The Israelis were aware of it, but somehow they just thought it was posturing. But there were signs that this was coming. And in fact, the Israelis had discovered a bunch of ammunition and bombs that were in some packages of jeans, and so they shut down the exports coming out of there, but they didn't take any more action off of it because I think that they thought it was just going to be something small scale. And that just shows that how far Hamas has come in their ability to mask what they're doing, but to continue to get the resources that they need through all the blockades. And that's, I think, one of the bigger questions. How do they amass so much force and weapons and rockets without the Israelis knowing about it? That's the big question.
And Colonel, my last question for you is, when you talk about the support and resources Hamas is getting, it is no secret that it comes from Iran, who also supports Hezbollah. How concerned are you that this turns into a multi-front war for Israel and Hezbollah gets involved?
That's what's absolutely vital, both for Israel and the United States, that this remains contained in the Gaza Strip. We cannot have any chance of it escalating beyond those borders to include either, into Lebanon or, God forbid, anything into Iran as well, because that would be in no one's interest. We need to keep this contained for everyone's sake. And I think that's a key issue for both Washington and Israel.